As you're learning to cut hair in cosmetology school, it is essential to pack the correct implements for your haircut. What you will find in this kit is what you use for a state board haircut. All these implements will be set up in your kit when you test at the state board exam. In your hair cutting kit, you should find torn paper towels, neck strips, 4 clips, 2 styling combs, 2 rat-tailed combs, a Denman brush, your razor blades, your shears, your blood spill kit, your hand sanitizer, a clean drape, your trash bags, a clean container with your towels, your soiled linens container, and your spray bottle labeled with H2O with the appropriate approved disinfectants. Hello, I'm Professor E, and today I will be discussing a convex haircut. Those are rounded, long layers right here on my Miss Catherine doll today. So before we get started, you want to make sure that your station is always set up in the correct way and that all your implements are clean and ready to go. The setup that I have today is the setup that you will be using for your haircut. Okay, so first things first, before you touch your client, you're gonna sanitize your hands. Once you've sanitized, you're going to drape your client. As you can see, I have everything labeled and in clean bags. Always tilt the head. Your drape goes over the Sanex and you liberate any hair that would get trapped. There we go. Nice and secured. Alrighty. So before you get started into sectioning the hair and pre-webbing the hair, right after you have put your drape on, go ahead and sanitize your hands again. Once you've sanitized, now you're going to analyze the scalp. It's really essential before you start any services that you make sure that your client has a nice healthy scalp with no cuts or abrasions. If you're doing the state test, you want to make sure you really showcase that you're analyzing the scalp section by section and really just give it a good look, you know. Tilt your head, get in there, don't be afraid to look at your doll. This way the proctor knows for sure that you are analyzing in a way that ensures your client's safety. So you'd be surprised how many clients come in with a cut or abrasion on their head of hair, and you have to ask them to come back after it's been healed. So once you've analyzed the scalp, forget the back, and she's nice and healthy, you can start wetting down the hair. You want to make sure that when you wet your doll's head of hair or your client, you're mindful of where you're spraying the water so as to not spray your client's face. And you don't spray so much that it is dripping on the floor, because when you test at the state board test, if there's any visible moisture or droplets of water on the floor, you're expected to clean it up. That takes precious time, and it makes you have to sanitize your hands before and after. It's a process. And then what you're gonna do is get your brush there, and you're brushing in the moisture so it distributes throughout the head of hair. Go ahead and pause it. So you're just brushing in the moisture. Take any additional hair that was left on the brush, put it in your little trash bag. You can put your implement back onto your station. Now we're gonna go ahead and section her into 4 sections. We're gonna section her for a convex cut. You'll have a mirror, so it'll be a lot easier when you do it. So I'm kind of standing off to the side to make sure that I get a center part. And okay, yeah, that's looking good. And so you're gonna section your doll into 4 quadrants. You're gonna go straight up the middle and all the way back into the nape. And then we're gonna go down the sides of the head from the apex, which is the very most tip top of the head. It's where your comb lies flat. And you're going to part to behind the ear. You want to secure the hair around the other side, behind the ear. So you take your comb, and take some practice with these doll heads to get a nice straight line. Again, you want to use your mirrors. You'll have a mirror near you. I'll turn her around so you can see. Down the centermost part of the doll. Okay, so here she is. She's sectioned into 4 equal sections. And we're gonna go ahead and get ready to put our guideline in for a convex long flared haircut. Go ahead and cut. As you can see, I've sectioned the head of hair into 4 quadrants. We're doing a convex cut, so it's in the shape of a V. See, you can use your comb as a ruler there to see the line that it's creating. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our guideline for the haircut, this convex cut. We're going to cut about 1 inch off around the entire head. And we're going to use our comb as our ruler to make sure our line remains crisp. And we're going to connect the dots here. We're going to start in the front. We're going to set our guideline in the back. And then we're going to connect the 2 positions from front to back. When you're doing this cut on your client, you want to ask where they want the hair to sit in the front. For the sake of this haircut, we're only taking 1 inch off, but if this was a live client, you would ask what their preference is, and then you would use that length, and that's where you would meet both guidelines. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my guide. As you can see, I'm taking from the center most part of the head. Notice how I'm palming my shears. I have my shears in one hand where I open and close my blade, and then I use my comb in the same hand. I pull out about a 45-degree angle, and we're going to cut 1 inch off. So there it is, 1 inch off the front. Now let's go ahead and make our guideline in the back. Make sure you're cutting from the center of the hair. Bring it out to a 45-degree angle and you cut 1 inch off. There it is. And now we're gonna create our slope in between these 2 guides here. Can you see my hands? Great. Had to check with my videographer if you could see my hands. Feeling real fancy here. Stay-at-home measures. So we're going to use our comb as our guide, and we're going to use our part as to where we're going to set it. Set our guide, and here in the nape where the occipital bone is located, we're going to continue parallel to our model, same angle. And then it's an open and close blade. See how nice and clean that is? And then you drop it. Again, you're parallel to your model. When you're dealing with your doll head, you don't have to worry about shoulders. So you can just go ahead and make your clean cuts. But if this was a live client, you would turn their head each way, and that would free up the hair that you'd be cutting on the side of the head, so you can get a nice crisp line. Again, the angle you're observing is the same angle in which you've parted the hair. Take your front guide, you see where you've cut. Again, using the same angle. And as you can see, we've met up both of our guides there from front to back. And you see our line is nice and crisp. Now we gotta do it on the other side. You wanna make sure your head is level. You can start in the front or the back, it's your choice. You have a clear understanding of where your guide sits. And again, you use the same angle in which the hair is parted to cut this guide. Opening and closing your blade by simply using your thumb. Again, we're taking from the centermost part of the head where our guide has been established. You can see it quite plainly there, mimicking the same angle of our V-shaped convex cut. You cut away the excess length and you connect the guide line to the rest of the haircut. Now this is the point where we check for symmetry. You take from the exact same part of the head and you measure to see how much of a length difference there is. And once you find it, you even it out. Again, your comb should be mimicking the angle of your convex cut. Applying a medium tension. There it is. You see that little piece there? Again, mimicking the angle of your cut. There we are. Connecting the dots there. And we're in a much better place. Of the haircut. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead now that we've established our guideline and we've ensured that the length is even on both sides. We're gonna go ahead and drop the next section. There we are. Okay. Sometimes I feel like it's a video game, I forget to blink. So here we go. And we're maintaining the shape of our sectioning in the V shape. And you're dropping about an inch subsection, depending on your client's texture of hair, the density, and the desired look. You may or may not want to drop a smaller or a larger section. The whole point is to make sure to be able to still see your guideline. of where you established the desired length. Make sure you maintain the hair equally wet throughout the haircut. This way you ensure the haircut is being cut and held at a proper tension. Okay, so let's start with our V shape here in the back. As you can see, our guidelines dropping out. We're again using the same angle as our comb. We make our cuts. And again, we position the doll where we would be parallel to the shoulder or the front of the face. Again, observing the angle in which you're cutting. See? And as you get to the front of the face, you can ask your client how they wear their hair, if they tuck it behind their ear, or what they do for their styling regimen, and then you would tailor the front to what their lifestyle and hairstyling would entail. There we go. As you're approaching, as you part down the front of the head, down the parietal ridge, on the right side of the head, you want to make sure your sectioning remains clean, so you can see the shape of the cut you're working on achieving. Again, mimicking the angle in which you've parted the hair. Right now we're going with a 0-degree elevation. As we get around to the back of the head, we look at our guide and we connect from point A to point B from the back of the head to the front. As you can see, it's creating a nice rounded shape. If you wanted a more avant-garde look, or if you were looking for something that's a little bit more edgy, you could pick the front up and give a sharper angle. Clients that like to pump up their hair, make it big, they like shorter layers because their hair can stay styled longer, and they can hold the style all day as opposed to relaxing throughout the course of the day because the hair is heavy. So you want to ask your client how much they style. It's really important because they might show you a really cool cut, but if they never style it, it's not going to look good. As we're getting to the crown of the head, We're running out of length. Same angle we've been working with. See my hands, what they're doing. See my guideline popping out there. And in an ergonomic position with a straight wrist, I am opening and closing my shears and creating that straight line. It takes time to build speed with the type of cutting that's being done. You want to learn how to do it correctly before you're concerned about cutting quickly. All right, pause it. Okay, so now we're working our way up to the crown in the back. Again, maintaining our convex V shape. If you had a client with sparse hair that has trouble creating a nice thick perimeter, you probably wouldn't want to start layering until you got to this place anyways, because you'd want to create a nice heavy line so their hair appears thicker than it actually is. Drop our next section here in the left back quadrant, just at the occipital bone, up, connecting to the parietal ridge, the curvature of the head getting towards the crown. Our shape. As you can see, we're running out of hair, so it's probably safe to drop it all. Continuing here, using our same angle. And see, it's very easy at this point. It's like connecting the dots. Your guideline is very, very obvious. And you have your scoop convex cut. Again, using your same angle as previous to match to your guide with a medium tension and 0 lift. Here we are. Finished. And we have our angle. We check for symmetry. And there we are. A convex 0-degree haircut. Bye.
Yep.
Okay, so upon finishing the haircut, it's time for cleanup. What you're gonna do is you're gonna ensure that you don't have any excess hair on your station. You're gonna use your TPTs, also known as your torn paper towels. Wipe off the excess hair, and you're gonna get your implements to be disinfected label container. And you're gonna place your soiled comb, you're gonna wipe off your shear of excess debris. You're gonna place your shear in there, you're gonna put your TPT in the trash. Any other tools that were on your SMA also go into the soiled container to be disinfected. This guy doesn't quite fit. There we go. Okay, so you would normally have a little bit of a bigger container that gives you a bit of a more airtight seal. There we go. You put your TPT in the trash. You have your soiled implements. And you put the unsoiled things back into your kit. And once you put, oops, if that happens, that's okay. You get a paper towel, you pick it up off the floor, put it in the trash. You sanitize your hands. You do it again. You put it in the trash. You sanitize your hands. See what we do there? Okay, so we are all set to go. And if you were to be changing your drape, you would take off the drape, take off the neck cloth, throw the neck cloth in the trash. And this would go in your soiled linens container if you were finishing your client for the day. See, as labeled, soiled linens. And again, when in doubt, sanitize, and then the service is completed.